Good morning, friends. Myself Arbab Khan, Assistant Professor and HOD, Department of Geography, DK College, Dumrao. Today, I am here to discuss with you a very important topic, which is of your BA Part 3 Honor Syllabus, Paper 6, Group D, Human Geography. So, first of all, we should know what is human geography, what is the definition of human geography, and what is the nature of human geography. What do you understand by human geography? Why human geography is different with physical geography? And what is the central theme? What is the central concept of human geography? Why there is a need to study human geography as a different branch of geography? So all these concepts, all those definitions we are going to discuss in our upcoming slides. So dear students, please pay attention as we are going to discuss definition and nature of human geography. So, human geography is a major subdiscipline within the wider subject of field of geography. So, what we understand that geography is interaction of human beings with their environment, or geography is concerned to provide accurate, orderly, and rational description and interpretation of the variable character of the Earth's surface. So, this is the proper definition of geography. Then, what is human geography? My friends, as you know, humans are the central theme on this earth. They are central to the functioning of the environment and the earth system. So, Radzel's organismic concept of state, the Daviesian geomorphology, the environmental determinism of Semple, Huntington, Taylor, all prove to some or great extent that human geography is human ecology. So, human ecology or human geography, we can interchangeably use these two terms. So, human geography, in layman's term, human geography is the study of man and his adjustment to his natural environment. So, how man is adjusting to its surrounding, its natural environment, this is the central theme of human geography. So, there are numerous racial and ethnic groups in the world, and the geoclimatic conditions of the various parts of the earth also differ from each other substantially. Each society or ethnic group uses, misuses, and underuses its natural resource according to its cultural and technological advancement. So, traditionally, geography is considered the study of the Earth's environment and the peoples and the interaction between. Thirdly, the most basic of these describes geography as consisting two fundamental halves, physical and human geography. Physical geography generally means the science of the Earth's surface, while human geography usually refers to the study of its people and geographical interpretation of economies, cultural identities, political territories, and societies. So, there is a wide difference between physical geography and human geography. As far as physical geography is concerned, so physical geography is science of Earth's surface. It generally deals with the rocks, plateaus, plains, mountains, planetary winds, etc. etc. While human geography study the people and their geographical interpretation of economies, cultural identities, political territories, and societies. So, in human geography, we generally study the culture of the people, the technological advancement of the people, their economies, their political territories, and etc. So, human geography analyze population trends, theorize social and cultural change, interpreted geopolitical conflict, and seek to explain the geography of human economic activities around the world. So, all those activities which are concerned with the human beings or which are affecting human beings or human beings are affecting all the activities are the central theme of human geography. So, as you can understand from the very word human itself, that human geography is primarily concerned with the humans. Uh, as you know, physical geography is concerned with the earth surface, human geography is concerned with the people. So, Now we are on the definition part. Uh, Students, definition is the most important thing of any subject or any topic, because defining any subject or any topic is a very gruesome, very tiresome, and very important task. So, there are several human geographers. They have defined geography as per their own philosophies, their own understanding. So, here we are going to discuss four major definitions put forward by geographers. So, first is human geography or anthropogeography. So, another name of human geography is anthropogeography. Is a branch of geography that deals with the study of people and their communities, cultures, economies, and interactions with the environment by studying their relations with and across space and place. So, geography, in this definition, we can clearly understand that geography is that human geography is that branch of geography that deals with the study of people. And if we are going to study the people, then we must study their communities, their cultures, their economies, and interaction with the environment. So, in this definition, uh, Dr. Bleach, Harmjen, and Day, they are emphasizing on the interaction with the environment by human beings. Second definition is of Ratgel. So, it is very important definition. It's a short one. You can easily memorize this. Human geography is the synthetic study of relationship between human societies and Earth's surface. So, the most important theme of human geography is human. So, how human beings or human societies are interacting with their Earth or with their Earth's surface is a central theme of geography, human geography. So, this one is very important definition because it laid emphasis on the interaction between human beings and their Earth surface. So, how people are interacting with their environment, how people are interacting with their Earth. So, this is the central theme of geography. Third definition is of Miss Ellen C. Semple. So, according to her, human geography is the study of the changing relationship between the unresting man and the unstable earth. This is also a very important definition. According to Semple, human geography is the study of the changing relationship between unresting man and the unstable earth. So, in this definition, she is emphasizing that man is also unresting and earth is also unstable. So, how both of them are interacting with themselves, this is the central theme of human geography. Last one is very important definition given by Paul Vidal de la Blache, and according to him, concepts resulting from a more synthetic knowledge of the physical laws governing our earth and of the relations between the living beings which inhabit it. So, all those geographers or human geographers, they are giving emphasis to the human beings and their interaction with their surroundings or their environments. So, this is the central theme of human geography. Now, friends, what is the nature of human geography? So, geography studies the interrelationship between the physical environment and socio-cultural environment created by human beings through mutual interaction with each other. So, how human beings are interacting among themselves, how human beings are interacting with their surroundings, with their environment, how they are advancing in the technologies, what is the level of their culture. So, all these are the nature of human geography. And very important part of this uh, whole discourse of human geography is naturalization of humans and humanization of nature. So, this is very important sentence, my friends. As humans used to interact with their nature, they more often adopt some things uh, which is naturally present in their surroundings. So, nature tends to mold human beings, or nature tends to change human beings. So, this is naturalization of humans. And secondly, is humanization of nature. as nature used to change human beings also used to change the nature. So nature also become humanized. So this sentence is very important. We can understand this sentence by which mountains influence the life of their inhabitants and social groups. For example, we are going to take the example of mountains. See how mountains are changing or molding the ways of humans. So mountains influence the life of their inhabitants and social groups and their neighbors fundamentally and variously, but always reveal their barrier nature. For example, the Himalayas, for the occupants of its southern slope, provide an abundant rainfall, while to the leeward side they admit dry winds, and only from the melting snow or the precipitation on their summit do they yield a scanty supply of water. So, those who are living on the leeward sides, they used to get less precipitation, and those who are living on windward side, they used to get ample supply of precipitation. Likewise, the economic life of indigenous people and the tribals living in the areas of isolation and relative isolation is based not on competition but on cooperation. The survival is only possible when the community works together. Most small scale indigenous societies have elaborate systems for sharing foods, possession, and ritualizing conflicts. So, basic philosophies from each according to his capacity and to each according to the needs. So, this is the basic theme of human geography. So, human beings interact with their physical environment with the help of technology. So, it is not important what human beings produce and create, but it is extremely important with the help of what tools and techniques do they produce and create. So, tools are major part of their life because tools represent their technological advancement. More and more tools and technology used by human beings shows that they are technologically advanced. So, friends, technology indicates the level of cultural development of society. Human beings were able to develop technology after they developed better understanding of natural laws. Or apart from material gains and cultural achievements, food, clothing, shelter, tools, technology, customs, traditions, socio-economic institutions, higher needs like religion, faith, language, literature, fine arts, and folklore, folk medicine, etc., are directly or indirectly influenced by the physical environment. In other words, man has molded his habits and lifestyles according to his physical surroundings and natural endowments. So, in the early stages of their interaction with their natural environment, humans were greatly influenced by it. They adapted to the dictates of nature. This is so because the level of technology was very low and the stage of human social development was also primitive. For example, the indigenous people living in the area of isolation and relative isolation are judiciously utilizing their habitat without disturbing much the ecological balance, though their economies are often called primitive and their technology dismissed as Stone Age. A number of examples may be cited to show the symbiotic relationship of the primitive social groups and their physical surroundings. For example, the mobile hunting and fishing have allowed the Eskimos to survive in the inhospitable Arctic temperature. Protein rich food obtained from reindeer, other game, and fish, their fur cloths, igloo, and sledges, etc., show the skill of Eskimos and their capacity to adjust to their environment. So, this type of interaction between primitive human society and strong forces of nature was termed as environmental determinism, which we are going to discuss in our next topic. At the stage of very low technological development, we can imagine the presence of naturalized human who listened to nature, was afraid of his fury, and worshipped it. Like many customs we follow in our Indian culture, here we respect our nature, unlike the material culture which is followed by West, where they mold nature to their own benefits. Thank you, students. Now I am going to wrap up this session. Again, in our next video, we will discuss something more important of human geography. Okay.